Most of us have feared, the lockdowns are coming back. Federal officials from the TSA and from the U.S. Border Patrol have contacted that the Biden administration is now setting the stage for full COVID lockdowns. The whistleblowers told us that they will begin in mid-September with incremental restrictions such as masking TSA employees, and then masking other government employees, and then masking non-government workers, and then masking everyone. Fires and floods are everywhere, and our billionaire ruling class are now being very open about their plans to lock us all down again in order to save humanity.
One thing that maybe surprised you most, something you learned the last year?
Well, I learned that people don't know as much as they think they know, but the biggest thing you learn is that the pandemic was bound to occur, and this isn't the worst one that's imaginable at all. Society has a terrible time preparing for things that are remote but are possible and will occur sooner or later. There'll be another pandemic. We know that. We know there's a nuclear, chemical, biological, and now cyber threat. And we know, it has, each one of those has terrible possibilities. And we do some things about it. But it's just not something that society seems particularly capable and fully coming to grips with. The cyber threat, that we've just started. and look at the damage that's already been done.
The mask mandates are coming back. The lockdowns are returning. Will you comply, or will you stand together against this decrepit old over us all? Now is the time to make that decision. In 1972, The Limits to Growth was published by the Club of Rome. The book suggested that swift human depopulation would save the planet. In 2018, The Limits to Growth co-author Dennis Meadows explained how we need to...
The planet can support something like 1 billion people, maybe 2 billion, depending on how much liberty and how much material consumption you want to have. If you want more liberty and more consumption, you have to have fewer people. And conversely, you can have more people. I mean, we could even have 8 or 9 billion probably if we have a very strong dictatorship, which is smart. That's, unfortunately, you never have smart dictatorships. They're always stupid. So, but if you had a smart dictatorship and a low standard of living, you can have it. But we want to have freedom and we want to have a high sentence, so we're going to have 1 billion people. And we're now at 7, so we have to get back down. I hope that this can be slow, relatively slow, and that it can be done in a way which is relatively equal.
Population is a lie. With old school sustainable farming and the end of big government, there is enough room on this planet for several billion. And while the Earth's climate does change, most of what we are seeing is contrived. The fires breaking out all across the world are being blamed on climate change, even though hundreds of arsonists have been caught starting them. Most recently, 79 people were arrested for starting fires in Greece. Direct energy weapons, or DOOs, are able to start fires from above and can utilize microwave technology to burn homes from within. In 2013, the mainstream media reported that we were able to make rain and lightning.
I mean, lasers? Really? To change the weather?
By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning.
This week in Michigan, residents reported a strange strobe-like lightning. The event was captured on weather radar, which showed a very unnatural-looking spiral.
That's some conspiracy theory shit right there.
Making it rain has been possible for decades, and we have come a long way since then. With the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, known as HAARP, we can now create hurricanes, and we can control their direction with next-generation weather radar transmitters, known as NEXRAD. By building up an electromagnetic charge and dispersing it underground as direct current VLF waves, or very low frequency waves, the NEXRAD radar transmitters are able to trigger earthquakes. Earthquakes and explosives can trigger tsunamis, These are the technologies that we know of, and that only leaves volcanoes and tornadoes. Funded by Peter Thiel, AVE Tech Energy Corporation began work in 2012 on a device to produce a 130-foot tall tornado. And a former U.S. intelligence officer recently told State of the Nation that the U.S. has already triggered a volcano. Higher government is going along with it.
The following public service announcement can be found on FEMA.gov. The press release date for this announcement was August 3, 2023. The press release number is HQ23-124. FEMA and the FCC plan a nationwide emergency alert test for October the 4th, 2023. FEMA, in coordination with the Federal Communications Commission, also known as the FCC, will conduct a nationwide test of the Emergency Alert System, or EAS, and Wireless Emergency Alerts, WEA, this fall. The national test will consist of two portions, testing WEA and EAS capabilities. Both tests are scheduled to begin approximately 2:20 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, October 4th. The WEA portion of the test will be directed to all consumer cell phones. This will be the third nationwide test, but the second to all cellular devices. The test message will display in either English or Spanish, depending on the language settings of the wireless handset. The EAS portion of the test will be sent to radios and televisions. This will be the seventh nationwide EAS test. FEMA and the FCC are coordinating with EAS participants, wireless providers, emergency managers, and other stakeholders in preparation for this national test to minimize confusion and to maximize public safety value of the test. The purpose of the October 4th test is to ensure that the systems continue to be an effective means of warning the public about emergencies, particularly those on a national level. In case the October 4th date is postponed due to widespread severe weather or other significant events, the backup date for testing is October 11th, 2023. The WEA portion of the test will be initiated using FEMA's Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, or IPAWS, a centralized internet-based system administered by FEMA that enables authorities to send authenticated emergency messages to the public through multiple communication networks. The WEA test will be administered via a code sent to cell phones.